let's practice more dividing. Make sure you're in your OneNote notebook. Go to your Dividing Decimals tab, and we're looking for the page that is labeled number 7, single digit division with a remainder. All right, notice these problems are given to us horizontally, so I'm going to rewrite them off to the side. Let's practice a few together, and then we'll give you a few to do on your own. Let's start with number 1 right over here. I'm going to put number 1. And notice I put it on graph paper, so one box holds one number. So the first number that is given is, of course, the dividend that goes in the house. The second number given, the 8, that's the divisor that goes on the outside. So I'm going to put my 8. I'm going to draw the house, and we have 389 is the problem. All right, so now that I have that written, I'm just going to enlarge that a little bit so it's easy to see. And remember our does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? That always helps us out. So the first thing we ask ourselves, we divide and we decide how many times does 8 go into 3? Well, it can't, but it can go into 38. So how many times does 8 go into 38? It goes in there 4 times. Make sure that we put the 4 above the 8 because it didn't go into 3, it went into 38. Then we multiply, that's our next step. 4 times 8 is 32. Again, because we're on graph paper, only one number per box. It might make some of you write larger. Then we go to subtract, and so we say 8 minus 2 is 6. 3 minus 3 is 0. We check to make sure the 6 is smaller than the 8, and it is. We bring down the 9, and then we repeat the process. So we decide how many times does 8 go into 69. Well, I know that 8, it goes in there 8 times. I'm going to multiply 8 times 8 to get 64. I'm going to subtract the 2, and 9 minus 4 is 5. I check to make sure 5 is less than 8. I bring down, but there's nothing more to bring down. So my remainder is 5. So my full answer is 48, remainder 5. All right, let's go ahead and sneak back here. Let's do one more together. We'll do number 2 together. 154 divided by 7. So I'm going to put number 2 over here. I'm going to keep things nice and neat. My 7's my divisor, goes on the outside. And in the house is the dividend, 154. All right. Let's enlarge that a little bit. I'm still following my does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers, so my first step is to divide. So 7 goes into 15 2 times, and I multiply. 2 times 7 is 14. Then I subtract, and 5 minus 4 is 1, and 1 minus 1 is 0. I check to make sure 1 is smaller than 7, and it is. I bring down my 4. Then I repeat the process. So then I decide to divide. How many times does 7 go into 14? It goes in there 2 times. Then I multiply. 2 times 7 is 14. I subtract, and I get 0. And I am done because I've gotten 0. There's nothing more to bring down. My answer on this one does not have a remainder. My answer is 22. All right, one final problem that we'll do together. 304 divided by 6. So I'm going to put that right down here, number 3. 6 is my divisor on the outside. 304 is on the inside. That's the dividend. And I start with my divide, and I decide that 3 goes into 30 5 times, and then I multiply 5 times 6, and I get 30. And then I subtract. 30 minus 30 is 0. I check to make sure 0 is smaller than 6. It is. I bring down my 4, and then I repeat the process. All right, so I have to decide how many times does 6 go into 4? 6 doesn't go into 4, so I goes in there 0 times, and then I have to multiply. 0 times 6 is 0. I subtract, and 4 minus 0 is 4. I check to make sure that 4 is smaller than 6. I bring down, but there isn't anything else to bring down, so that is just my remainder. That one was a little trickier, a little different because we had a 0 in our quotient or in our answer. All right, what I want you to do right now is go ahead and practice on your own. Number 4, number 5, number 6. And I will check back with you in just a little bit to give you the answers to those problems. So go ahead and pause the video right now, go work them out, and then come back and check. Okay, hopefully we are back and you've worked them out yourself so you can compare them to what I'm going to come up with. Let's go ahead and write number 4 over here. 545 divided by 5. So we're going to go with our 5 on the outside and our 545 as the dividend inside. Made that just a little small, but we'll squeeze it in there. And I can't see my does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? Does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? I'm going to write that there as my reminder. All right, so I start with that divide, and 5 goes into 5 one time, and then I multiply. 1 times 5 is 5. I subtract, and 5 minus 5 is 0. I check to make sure 0 is smaller than 5. I bring down my 4. And then I repeat the process. 5 goes into 4 0 times. It can't. And so then I multiply. 0 times 5 is 0. I subtract. 4 minus 0 is 4. I bring down my 5 and I repeat the process. 5 goes into 45 9 times. I multiply 9 times 5 and get 45. I subtract and I get 0. And I am finished. I got 109 for that particular problem. Going back here, let's go to number 5. And number 5 says, 88 divided by 6. My 6 is out here. My 88 is on the inside, my dividend. And while I'm here, I think I'll rewrite number 6. And that is 9 is my divisor, and my dividend is 837. Now I can zoom in on those a little bit. Want to see my does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? All right, so I decide 6 goes into 8 one time, and 1 times 6 is 6. Then I subtract. 8 minus 6 is 2. I check to make sure that 2 is smaller than 6. I bring down my 8, and then I repeat the process. So 6 goes into 28 4 times, and 4 times 6 is 24. I subtract, and I get 4. I check to make sure 4 is smaller than 6. I bring down, but I can't bring anything else down, so this is just my remainder. 14 remainder 4. Remember to box your answers. And finally, the last one, I divide first, and so I say 9 goes into 83. How many times? It will go in there 9 times. I multiply 9 times 9 and get 81. I subtract, and 3 minus 1 is 2, and 8 minus 8 is 0. I check to make sure my 2 is smaller than my 9. I bring down my 7. Then I repeat the process. 9 goes into 27 3 times, and 3 times 9 is 27. I subtract, and I get 0. Nothing more to bring down, so 93 is my answer. I hope you did well. Go ahead and try the rest if you'd like, or some of them on your own. And then notice the answers are there for you, so you can check your work. Thanks.